cities. I always like to find out what the day's like there. And Dr. Daryl Gioffre tells me this morning, what'd you say? It's going to be 90 there today?
It's 90 and sunny, and the day's just getting started. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's you never know what day and month it is down here. It's really awesome.
It's already 90 in Naples, Florida?
Well, I would say we're probably getting up there pretty soon. Yeah, I just walked outside for a second, and it felt like 90, but it's probably like in the 80s right now, but it'll go up to probably like 90, 92 today.
Our conversation brought to you by Marcus and Mack, voted best personal injury law firm, the best of Indiana County contest. Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Well, I guess if you were trying to lose weight and you were in Naples, Florida today, maybe that would be a little bit easier because well, you might sweat off a few pounds. But this is a serious subject. Daryl is a longevity expert, and he says Americans are eating themselves to death. It is a real problem, isn't it?
It's a huge problem. For the first time in human history, we are seeing the lifespan in our children actually lessen than our lifespan. So, I'm a father of two. My son just turned 9. I have a daughter who's 6, and it scares me, being a father and also with all the clients that I coach. We look at this and we can't blame our genes or genetics because the genes haven't changed for 40,000 years. So what is it? It's our lifestyles. It's what we're putting into our body on a daily basis. It's the lack of movement. It's the stress. Right now, most of us are being managed by stress, and we got to manage stress. But I think the big culprit is sugar. Sugar, it's snuck its way into our diets. It's hiding in so many foods. And when you look at the core of it, sugar drives up inflammation in the body more than really anything. And all these diseases that we're talking about, diabetes, cancer, heart disease, even Alzheimer's, at the core of it is inflammation. I always say we don't die of old age, we die of inflammation. So if we really want to lose weight and get healthier, we have to decrease the inflammation in our body. How do we do that? We have to start making better choices in the foods that we eat, putting foods into our body that strengthen it from the inside out.
Diabetes in young people up from 3% to 4.1%. And obesity shooting up from 32.7% to 40.9%, according to this particular study that I'm looking at. That is from 2009 to 2020. That might not seem like a really big jump to a lot of folks, but for people who are inside the industry like you are looking at it, that's enormous, isn't it?
It's an enormous jump, and it's a scary number. It's scary to see these stats on the rise in such a significant way. And I think the problem is that we're not really addressing really what the root cause of this is. When we see a number go up, it's whether it's your A1C or our blood glucose, which is really our sugar markers, right? The question is why? It's not just about taking a drug that's going to lower that, unless you're in a crisis, right? We have the best crisis care system in the world. But we have to start looking deeper into that body. What is the root cause for why the body's making these bad changes? And when it comes down to it, it's our diet. In fact, if you look at the first 3 letters of diet, what does it spell, right? D-I-E. It's the last thing we want to do for the body. So ultimately, it's not about like saying, hey, we got to stop sugar. We got to get off that stress eating roller coaster. We got to deprive ourselves because deprivation doesn't work. A perfect example of that is New Year's. New Year's comes, we quit sugar. 14 days later, the research shows 92% of people are back on their sugar.
Yeah.
So why is it? Because we haven't made a true change in terms of why we want to make the change, but also the strategy. So my approach is let's start adding in foods that are gonna be healthy for our body, that are gonna strengthen it, that's gonna help lower inflammation in our gut and our cardiovascular system. And again, the core of that is what I love to start my day with is green juice. It's the core of a strength eating diet. One simple thing that everyone can do to start their day off is drink a green juice. I'm not saying you have to get a juicer or make it. We have this amazing powder at our company. You just put a scoop of the powder, glass of water. Within 30 seconds, you have 5 servings of organic greens. Less than 30 seconds. It's amazing. It's going to energize you. And it's a great way to start your day.
People are going to say, though, Dr. Daryl, I know that sounds like the thing to do, and it is the thing to do, but I like my pop. And even that 0 calorie stuff, 0 sugar, 0 calorie stuff, I like that too.
Yeah, again, you have to look at what we like and then what is the actual outcome of what we like. We like it until all of a sudden someone says you have diabetes or you have cancer, right? It's like we can't wait for the toothache to come to start taking care of things. Now, with that said, I'm not saying you have to give those things up. It's not about deprivation. It's about moderation. You can't be doing this stuff all day long. So 80% of the things that we put into our body, we want those to be healthy, or 70% at the minimum, but that gives you a little leeway. 20%, you can have things like that because now 80% of those foods are going to help neutralize the toxins and poisons in that drink. But again, my whole approach is like there's foods that we should never put into our body. There's better versions of that food, and there's a best version. So find the things that you love and then find a better version of that food, and then let's try to put that into the body so it's not as harmful. So, for instance, I love milk chocolate. I've always liked it. Growing up, I love milk chocolate. But milk chocolate is so acidic. It's loaded with dairy, which is very mucus-forming for your gut. It's got a lot of sugar. So a better option would be 100% dark chocolate. The best option would be something like cacao. So again, there's better versions of those foods that aren't going to be as harmful to our health, our metabolism, and ultimately our waistline.
So we're looking for better and best versions of the foods that we like so much. We're starting our day with a green drink. What are we doing through the course of the rest of the day? We go from that green drink, we're thinking about breakfast. We're thinking about the mid-morning snack and lunch, the mid-afternoon snack and supper. We're into these patterns, and sometimes those patterns can be harmful if we're not eating and drinking the right stuff at the right time.
Yeah, we're addicted to food. We're addicted to sugar. It's not a food; it's a drug. I mean, I call it America's drug of choice. And in my latest book, is Get Off Your Sugar, I talk about this. It's really wild. The average American is eating 17 times a day. I'm talking snacks, breakfast, lunches, grabbing something here or there. And the problem is every time you put that snack into the body, it's dumping insulin into your blood, and that's your fat-storing hormone. That's what's going to actually create inflammation. So ultimately, we want to less is more, just like in anything. So we want to find better versions of snacks, better versions of the foods, and ultimately get down to 3 meals a day. And then if you want to go one step further, there's something called intermittent fasting, where you actually skip your breakfast and now you're doing 2 meals a day. And it's amazing because you're giving. Think about if you had a car and you ran that car 24/7 I'm 47 for 47 years. Like that car is not going to be working pretty well. But that's what we're doing to our bodies. We're literally pumping up all these acidic and toxic foods all day, every day for how many years? We got to give the body a rest, and that's what intermittent fasting does. So for 16 hours, we can actually, not eat, but put different types of fluids in our body. And then in that 8-hour window, we are eating. And it just gives that body that gentle break. It resets your metabolism. It helps your gut. It lowers inflammation. And it's a really, really healthy way just to improve your overall health.
Dr. Daryl Gioffre on the line with us this morning from Naples, Florida. We're talking about how Americans are literally eating themselves to death. Dr. Daryl, there was a study that came out today, and I found it on my desk this morning. Said young people say they're too exhausted to eat properly. I know wow. That's like me throwing up a little EFIS pitch for you, and you can bang it out of the park. But go ahead.
It's a sad stat. But the question is why are we so tired? I mean, I used to love to say that I wish I could put my kids' energy into a little pill and put it into my body. That's how they're these kids are alkaline energizer bunnies. But just like an alkaline battery goes acidic, it turns bad. You throw that battery away, right? So again, when our bodies are basically becoming acidic and toxic from the foods that we're eating every day, the first thing that goes is our energy. It's the first sign that your body is in an inflamed state. Your energy gets depleted. And then after that, other things start to happen, like we store fat. But we really have to start to put foods in that are going to actually change that. So what's going to strengthen our body? More leafy greens, more healthy fats like avocado. Avocado is what I call God's butter. You mentioned breakfast before. One of my major go-to breakfasts is I'll dice up some avocado. I had this earlier today. I'll put some hemp seeds on it. It's a great source of plant-based protein. I'll drizzle a little olive oil on top of that, some sea salt, some black pepper, some cumin. And it's an amazing, amazing breakfast. Those fats are going to energize you. They're going to really sustain you. They're going to suppress your hunger, so you're not going to want to go for that mid-morning snack, which we want to try to avoid. And if you want to add something else to that, you can have a grass-fed egg. So these are the types of breakfast options that we want to go for. And when you start your day with that, guess what's going to happen after that? You're going to be better. You're going to want to have more healthier food, not more toxic food. So I think it's really how we start our day is critical. And then the other thing is we got to move our body. We've become so sedentary with just the technology and the games. And I always say motion is emotion. The more we move our bodies, we're going to feel better. We're going to have more energy. And when we have more energy, we're going to be more prone to make better choices in regards to the foods that we put into our body on a daily basis.
He's Dr. Daryl Gioffre. So you've mentioned a couple of times your company, which can help us to get down the right road here. So what is the company? How do we access it?
Oh, thank you. The company is called Alchemind, and the website is getofyouracid.com.
Alpha, say it again, Alpha.
Alchemind. Alchemind is the company, and the website is getofyouracid.com.
Very good. Very good. Hey, I appreciate your time this morning. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Same to you.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com.